All right. My name's Skip. Welcome to my channel. I've got a 1968 Plymouth Barracuda. It's a 340 Formula S Fastback. Um, I've done some work on it that I've already started on. Uh, this was a project that I was going to do with my dad's. It was his when he was a teenager, when he was a kid, and we've always said that we were going to work on it. In fact, when I was about 18 or 19, we started to work on it at one point in time, and then I was home from college and picked up a summer job, and so that kind of stopped the work on it then, and never did get back to it. And unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, and so I'm just trying to go ahead and follow through and get this thing back on the road. It's got quite a bit of rust. It was from Missouri. Spent a lot of time in St. Louis, and so a lot of that salt and stuff has gotten into the rockers and the quarters, and it had some repairs down here on the driver's side and the quarter, just over the wheel wells, and a lot of Bondo that had held moisture and rotted it out around the wheel well. Passenger side was a lot of rot in the rocker and the quarter at the lower parts, not so much anywhere else. The windows had gotten busted out at some point in time on that side, so it held a lot of water in there before it ever had any glass put back in it. Took me a long time to find windows for the thing. Uh, Back before the internet was as popular as it is, and it was a little harder to find things. So I've got new windows, or new used windows in that side. I have all the glass. I debated on pulling the glass out or not, and I just decided to go ahead and pull it all out. The back glass is my main concern. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put that back in by myself. Comes to it, I guess I'll just have to pay somebody to put it in. I am doing this thing on a budget. You know, a lot of these guys on YouTube say that they're doing budget builds and, spend $1,000 on this and $1,000 on that and $1,000 there and here. And, I just don't have money like that. I don't know a whole lot of people that really do. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm just, funding myself for a little bit of time I've got to get out here, which is not much. I've got a 4-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old daughter, and I try to spend as much time as I can with them. I only work about three nights a week, and so I've got most of my days. I work overnight, so I got my days where I can spend time with my family, and that's what comes first in my world is my girls, my wife. We've been married for about 11, 12 years now, and so I spend a lot of my time with them more than I do out here. Um, I've been blessed to be able to work in this shop that I've got. It's not mine. I live at my in-laws' house. They're missionaries in Belize, and so while they're there, we're here taking care of their property. And before they left, my father-in-law had built this shop. It's about a 60 by 40 shop. It's got a lift in it, and a 2-post lift. And so, I've been blessed to be able to have a spot like this to actually work in. Growing up, we just worked out under the trees in the mud and the rocks. And my dad used to have a big old chunk of carpet we pulled out of the house, and we would drag it around and throw it under the cars and work on the cars with it. Have a little something softer to lay on rather than that. But I've laid in a couple feet of snow working on cars, and all hours of the night, and spent lots of nights doing that with my dad. And that's what this build is for, is to yeah, things I wish I'd done while he was here. He had a lot of health problems, and I was saving up trying to at least get started on this thing and plan to do this. But had kidney failure and heart failure, and so we kind of knew it was coming, just didn't really have a time frame of when it was going to happen. So I think about the time COVID hit, he finally got that, and eventually that just took a toll on his body, and he didn't really bounce back much from that. And ended up succumbing to that, I guess. So anyways, we are. I'm just trying to get it back on the road. I don't know if I said I've got the original engine. I'm going to try to get that going if possible. It's a numbers matching 340 engine. I've got a 727 transmission that I've got. It's not numbers matching as far as I can tell from the numbers that I pulled off of it. It was supposed to be from a 69 340 Barracuda, and so it's not a 69. It's a 68. So there's no stamping on it, which I thought was kind of strange as far as around the belt housing. So there's stamps on the side of it that I found. And so the numbers that I've looked up from what I found on the internet, it says it's for a 69. And so I don't believe that it's the original, but I don't know. I don't have a fender tag, so I can't really come up with anything else. But anyways, that's all here and there. I don't really care if it's numbers matching or not. I'm not going back to original with a lot of this. It had Mustang seats in it from, I think, the 70s Mustang high back seats that fold forward. It had I want to say a 70s Barracuda console in it. So, things like that are not important to me. I don't really care what's in it as long as it looks decent going down the road. And that's just on this. I've got some old pickups that even on them, I don't really care what they look like. That had purple velvet on the dashboard and on the armrests. He had some yellow like fur down the door panels and stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to do anything that extravagant on it. And all in all, it's just going to be a work in progress. What I'm trying to do right now is basically just get rid of all the rust and the rot that's in it, and weld in some new patch panels, some pieces here and there. Try to get it into an epoxy primer. I'd like to get it into epoxy before in the next 3 or 4 months. I'd like to have it in epoxy at least, and then start working on the bodies. If I can get the body done and get it into paint and get the glass back in it, then I'll probably focus on getting some kind of drivetrain in and get the motor and transmission put in it. Even if not these, I've got a 318 sitting out here, a 360 sitting out here with some transmissions already on them. I would probably just stick the whole thing in just to have something to put around and drive in while I'm saving up to get the engine I want in it. If the 340 doesn't work out, if it turns out it's too much to fix or it's beyond repair or whatever, I'd kind of like to put a 5.7 Hemi in it if I could come across one of them. I see them occasionally in my area for not too much, under $1,000. So if I could get something like that, if I'm not going to put the 340 in it, that's what I'd like to do. I don't know that I will, but that's what I would like to do. I got my puppy down here we just picked up yesterday. She's a little boxer, little wine bag. She's pretty needy. So, but that's all right. She's just a puppy. I bought a boxer when my first daughter was about a year old, and now I've got this boxer for my other daughter who's just about to turn 1. She'll be one this weekend. So that's mostly what I've got for this, uh, I guess, episode, or this portion of it. Uh, I've got pictures of all the work that I've done so far. Um, I've put floor patches in this thing. I got cheap floor patches off of eBay. The fronts were actually pretty good. The quality of this, it was like a good 18 gauge steel. They were heavy duty, but the contours actually fit really well in the fronts. The rears, they said they were for a Barracuda. They said they also fit like a Dart and a Duster in this. They weren't the same. They weren't really even close. Um, I beat them around with a hammer and made them fit. Again, I really don't care what they look like. It was a whole lot better than the holes that were in the floor. And I'll throw some carpet over it and you'll never see it. I welded them in. Once I welded them in, cleaned it all up, I put some just Walmart Rust-Oleum, I think it was, line here, rust preventative paint. I can find that later and put it on here. It's an oil-based paint. I've used it on the truck frame before, and it seems to hold up pretty good. I put that on the floor, and then I bought some knockoff stuff on Amazon to put on there for heat and sound deadening that you spray on or roll on. I think I sprayed it on, and then I ended up rolling it after that because I didn't really care for the texture of it. It's real coarse, like sandpaper. I'm probably going to go back over that with the same stuff that I put down the first time, the black rust stuff, just to have a little something else on there. I don't really care for the color. It's a white color, so I'll at least cover that back up. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to throw carpet down on top of it, so you won't ever see it. But I've done the quarters, like I said, on the passenger side. I've got most of the passenger side at least tacked up and welded in. The fenders on it are pretty bad. They have a lot of rot in them. I took a lot of the inside and cleaned it up the best I could on the inside. I cut the lower portions out and put little patch panel. Again, I found off eBay. I've got my quarters that I got are not AMD like they should probably be for some people, but they're again another eBay special I found through Car ID, which I bought some more stuff directly from them after I found them on eBay because the quarters, they fit really nice. The contours are really pretty good. This side, I don't really care how the door and the quarter meet. There's a little bit higher build, which I'll get into whenever we go to fitting this side a little bit better, whenever it comes to get to that. But they fit pretty well. The only AMD parts that I actually have bought was the trunk drop down, and that was just because of the time that I bought them, they were on sale, so it was pretty cheap. Um, I bought a piece for up here in the door jamb. I don't remember what it's called, but where the hinge goes, I've got a little piece of rot, and I really probably didn't even need that piece. I really could have just cut that out probably and put a piece in, and that's probably what I'm going to do with the piece that I've got is just cut the main part of it out. The hinge part, I'll probably cut it out and just put that little piece in there because I don't want to go messing with the geometry of this. On the passenger side, when I put the lower part of the quarter in, I cut below the body line so that I would have the factory body line where the door and the quarter meet. Unfortunately, the driver's side is just too far gone that I couldn't really do that on. I guess I could have and just left the rod in there, but I probably would have just been chasing my tail, and by the time I got it painted, it probably would have popped through with another rust hole. But the doors on the passenger side had a pretty good bubble rot spot in the middle of it, right at the edge on the seam. I guess moisture just got in between the two of them, and so I've cut that out, put a new piece in. I got a little too much heat in it. It's kind of shrunk up pretty good on me, but nothing that little filler won't fill, and Bondo, and fiberglass, and we'll just make do with what we've got. Um, Again, I'm not a professional. Just making it to where I'm happy, and as long as it lasts me, that's fine with me. I mean, I get it back on the road and drive it, enjoy it. I'm not looking for show quality. I'm not looking for the best thing there is. So it'll be mine. I can say that I did it myself. I didn't have to pay somebody thousands of dollars that I don't have, and I just do it the best I can. I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate on here, but I really, kind of went back and forth on whether I should have done this. That's why I wanted to kind of start this at the very beginning, and then I didn't really want to because it was like all these people are probably just going to tear me apart. But I don't really care. I mean, it is what it is. There's not a whole lot of stuff out there on these old Mopars. Trying to take the windows out, trying to do stuff like that. Couldn't find nothing on the internet. So maybe, hopefully, this will be able to help somebody else that's trying to put one together or tear one apart. You can learn from my mistakes because I'm sure I'm bound to make them. I'm pretty good at making mistakes. I don't know that I'm much good at doing much of anything else, but again, I did go to body school. When I was 18, I'm 37, 38, something like that now. I don't remember. I always have to ask my wife how old I am because I can't ever remember. But that's been about 20 years ago, so it's hard to believe it's been 20 years since I've been out of high school or graduated high school. So I don't really like looking at myself here on the camera. So I'll probably eventually turn that thing around. I just kind of got it here where I can see myself, but. Hopefully I can get in here to where y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna try to do this driver's side of the car and probably post pictures of what I'm doing and try to video some of it as I do it. And maybe y'all can give me some tips on what I should be doing better and not tear me apart too bad. I don't really know when to start and when to stop these things. So this will be a little bit of awkward learning experience. I don't like being on camera. I don't like seeing myself on camera. But just hopefully this will help someone else, and that's really all I'm caring about. There's a lot of these Barracudas out there, and they seem to become a little bit more popular now. So AMD doesn't make a whole lot of these parts for this car. The parts that they did make, they've discontinued a lot of them. So that's why I'm doing some of the stuff that I'm doing. Like my fenders, I would have loved to had new fenders to put on these, but AMD doesn't pop them. Nobody repops them. There's fiberglass ones, but I don't really want fiberglass fenders on here. The hood, we'll see the hood down the road, but it's gone. It's shot. It had a big old hole cut in it and a hood scoop put on it, and what was there is pretty much rotted out. But I've got some ideas on what I want to do with that. I can get a fiberglass one or a new one, probably for around $1,000. But I think I've got a cheaper idea figured out on what I'm going to do with it. I do want to put a hood scoop that is similar to what was on it, back on it. Again, I'm trying to put this thing back kind of the way my dad had it. He had the 340 in it, and he had fender well headers coming out of it with side pipes, and I want to go back with that look. I like that look, that mean gasser look. I like that, and that's what I want back in it. I want it to be what my dad had it, but still put my own spin on it because I ain't putting the no fur back in it and that 60s, 70s wild hippie stuff in there. I'm not all about that, but he kind of laughed with me back when we were talking about getting back into doing it again. That if I was going to put it back, he really was wanting me to do that. And I was, nah, I don't think so. If I do, I don't think my wife would even ride with me in it because she just believed that was all gaudy. So. I'm a Mopar fan. I drive Dodge. Pretty much everything I own is Dodge. Now, my wife has a '88 Silverado, and that's her vehicle of choice and her baby. I think she loves that thing more than me. In fact, she got uh, into an accident the other day. It's the first accident she's ever been into. Somebody ran into her, and I think she about broke down and cried like it was the end of the world. So if you know my wife, she don't cry much. She's a pretty tough cookie. But yeah. Anyways, I've got a few Dodges. I've got a '06 Mega Cab with the Cummins in it, and I've got a '01 Dodge that I've had since I was about 19. It's a '01 extended cab with about a 6-inch lift and 35-inch tires. And, 35, I guess they're 35. I don't know what they are now. They don't do sizes the same like they used to, but I've got something to the equivalent of, I think. Um, it needs some work to it. It's starting to look a little old, so I need to get it back in here. But I've got some ideas for this channel. Just this will just be me messing around in the shop, me doing my stuff and letting everybody else judge it. So I've got some other ideas planned out. I've got an old '50s Dodge pickup that I'm wanting to bring back from Missouri and try to get it on the road. Where I work, I drive about an hour there and an hour back, so I spend a lot of time. I say a lot of time. That's not a whole lot of time, but it's a lot of mileage and it eats up a lot of fuel. So I'm trying to find me a 4-cylinder engine of some sort. If not, I've got an idea on a 6-cylinder that I've already got, and that may just be what I ended up doing anyways. But I'd like to put something like that in that old pickup and have something that looks neat but it's saving me money in the long run. So because diesel prices just keep going up. Um, Thanks, Biden. They just keep going up and eating me alive, and fuel prices going back and forth to work. So sometimes just does wonder if it's worth it. You know, again, I only work 3 nights a week, so I don't work a full-time job. I work 30 hours a week, which is I got enough to get by, and that's all I care about. A lot of people chasing that dollar, and I'm not all about that. Sure, it's nice to have money, but again, I like to spend a lot of time with my family. Um, so if I can do that and keep food on the table and keep the lights on, well, that's all I care about. So comes down to it, yeah, I'll work some more shifts and do what I need to do. But anyways, thanks for listening to me ramble on. Try to get on here and get you some content of actual doing something and not just pictures, but put together a little slideshow. Hopefully you can kind of see what's going on, of what I've been doing and what I've got done. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for this show. Thank you.